After Celtic fans claimed it was their worst ever transfer window, what did Chris Sutton have to say? Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football. He was speaking on the Daily Record podcast, Celtic podcast. I don't really know what they're doing over there, but yeah, he's basically said he and many Celtic fans wouldn't blame Brendan Rodgers if he walked. So, we can walk the walk. Can he do the talk? Let's go. So, this is what Chris Sutton had to say. And I quote, "He might feel he could walk away. I don't think he'll do that because of what happened last time. If that hadn't happened, I'm sure he would be thinking about it. But because of what went on, it will be on the back of his mind. I suspect he'll stay, but he is within his rights to walk away. He would probably say he is because he hasn't been backed. We don't know the conversations that have gone on with recruitment whenever the club have not sanctioned certain signings. But on the face of it, and the state of the squad, he'll have to work until January. He could well feel let down." End of quote. So, yeah, I mean, he says, I don't think he'll do it because of what happened last time. Well, what happened last time, Chris? I'm not going to mention what the certain, minority said about him, sung about him, did to him. It's no right if you ask me, but if Brendan Rodgers, right, is a Celtic man, which he is, I don't think he should ever walk away. Like, even if he's not been backed, right? See, if it was me and I was at Rangers and we had a shite transfer window, and God knows we've had plenty, I would still stay in the job. I wouldn't walk away. I think the only reason it makes sense for you to walk away if Rodgers thinks that he can't win Celtic the league, and therefore as a fan he would rather give it to someone else who he thinks has a better chance of winning it. So yeah, obviously Rodgers doesn't think like that, but at the end of the day, people have been saying for years now that Brendan Rodgers is probably the best option that Celtic could get, because, I mean, people say he's an elite manager. He's not, but he's managed in the Premier League. He's done a lot of things. He's won a few trophies. I mean, a trophy with what do you call them, Leicester, FA Cup, massive. So it's probably a good blend. The fact you've got a good manager, good pedigree, and he supports the club. So, I mean, if Rodgers is a fan, which he is, I mean, the first time he left, I don't understand why he left the first time, to be honest. I don't. Leicester City. It's not just a case of, well, he's the Celtic manager, Celtic or this, Celtic or that. But he's an actual fan. He's a fan of the club. And I know loads of players over the years have left, the club they've supported, and they've went down to England or moved abroad and, to further their career and all that. But it's like with Brendan Rodgers, right? When he was going to Leicester, just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It didn't. Now, I think seeing out your contract and leaving is more than fair enough from Rodgers. But at the same time, I've actually seen a lot of Celtic fans on Twitter in our comment section that say they wouldn't blame him and they would clap him on his way. Obviously, compare it to the first time round, that was not the case. He got called a rat, etc, etc. Some not very nice songs were sung about Brendan Rodgers, and there was more extremes than that as well. So it would be interesting to see what would happen if he left this time around. But genuinely, man, I think if he walked, people would not, their hatred would be more on the board than Rodgers. And I would say rightfully so. But at the same time, Brendan Rodgers got to take a bit of responsibility as well. Celtic are playing shite. I mean, yeah, they're still sitting top. That's undeniable. But they're at the Champions League. It's the Premier competition. Facts. It is. And to me, the reason they're not in that is more down to him and the players than the board. Now, do the board have to take a little bit of blame? Yes, of course they do. But the signings so far this summer, before the first leg of that Almaty game kicked off, should have been more than good enough. I mean, we're talking about a squad that's won a shit ton of trophies, dominated domestically. Last season, yeah, I mean, people can say, oh, look, we were in the Allianz last year and we were so unlucky. Yeah, Celtic were unlucky. They went out last minute. That goal, who was it? Was it Coleman? Can't even remember who got the goal in the 90th minute. And yeah, they've lost Kuhn, right? And Jota's out injured. And Celtic should have brought in a winger or two. I mean, Nygren can play there, but he's definitely more of a midfielder. But, I mean, it's got to be on Rodgers. You can't go within a couple of months of taking Bayern Munich to the edge, right? and then going out to Carrot Almaty and not some form of responsibility landing on Rodgers. Has to, man, because at the end of the day, the only thing, defensively, same keeper. I mean, the back line's improved, if you ask most people. They've brought in Tierney for Greg Taylor, although I think some people are beginning to wake up to the fact that Tierney might be done, and Greg Taylor offered that inverted full-back option where he came into the midfield and helped McGregor. That's at the windy now with Tierney. So, yeah, man, it's a weird situation with the Celtic board, but I think everybody's just got to take a bit of responsibility. I think that's the facts that we're looking at here. Because at the end of the day, you look at that team defensively in the midfield, it's not really lost anybody since the Bayern Munich game. Yes, it's the forward areas, but they're taking on Carrot Almaty, folks. You know, the Celtic should have been able to play the fucking C team and go past them. That's it. And that's where Rodgers needs to take a bit of responsibility. But yeah, don't know if Balikwisha or we call him Sebastian, we'll call him Sebastian. We don't know if that guy's going to be able to live up to the hype or whatever, but the fact of the matter is this: Brendan Rodgers has also been undermined. He did say that Adam Ida would not be let go if Celtic didn't have a replacement in. And guess what? They don't have a replacement in. I mean, as much as I do believe they're going to sign Ian Atchell, there's a decent chance Ian Atchell doesn't come. We've got to remember, folks, last year he rejected them to go to Middlesbrough. Or was it? No, it was back in the winter. So, he could very easily do the same. There could be another club. I mean, we've seen yesterday Charlton Athletic managed to get a signing over Celtic. Well, the guy wanted Charlton and that deal fell through as well. So, Scottish football, man. When the champions, right, Celtic lose out to a player because he wants to join Charlton Athletic, who I thought were League One, turns out they're Championship, the point still stands, man. Nobody should be fucking choosing Charlton Athletic over Celtic, but for whatever reason he did. And the losing player, I mean, losing Dahlberg to Ajax, right, or Bologna, that's one thing. You know, they're I mean, Ajax are a massive football club, you know, let's not spin it, right? There's no shame in that, especially because they've got guaranteed Champions League football. But it's just crazy. It is actually crazy, man. Anyway, I think that's where we will leave this video. What do you guys think, though? Leave your thoughts down below. Is Chris Sutton right? Would Rodgers be... Well, you know, it might put up for a poll. Would you back Brendan Rodgers walking out on the Celtic board? Could that be a poll? But yeah, it's the squad he's got to deal with until January. I mean, Sutton also went on to say in this podcast that it's opened the door for Rangers, and that it's also opened the door for Hearts potentially. Who knows? I said it earlier, man. If there was ever a time for a team outside the Old Firm to win the league, I think this is it. Rangers are a basket case, and Hearts are rank rotten. Anyway, folks, if a police van goes past, what's happening there? Anyway, leave your thoughts down below. Peace.